There is no better way to kick off your Week 2 college football weekend than on the blue turf on a Friday night at Boise State, as Eastern Washington from the FCS and the Big Sky Conference is in town to face the Boise State Broncos, both looking for win number 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Boise. Alongside the former Ohio State running back Robert Smith, I'm Noah Reed. Many thought Boise State would be the favorite out of the group of 5 again to make the college football playoff, but a Week 1 loss that Spencer Danielson called embarrassing means the approach has to be 1 week at a time.
Yeah, no question about it. And he said that the non-negotiables are really effort and mentality. And the game was a lot closer than the score would indicate. But when you watch the way that the players played, he put it best. He said, you know what? That wasn't Boise State football. And that means something not just to those players in the locker room, but players that played for this program and all of us around the country. All the way back to the Fiesta Bowl days, beating Oklahoma. We know what that means.
One guy who does know what Boise State football means is Maddox Matson, the preseason player of the year in the Mountain West.
Yeah, Maddox, he's got a little Baker Mayfield in him. Nate Potter, the offensive coordinator, said, you know what? Maddox likes a little bit of adversity. He likes to get a little bit of heat under his collar. Not the biggest guy in the world, but he has got to do better with his mechanics, has to take care of the football. In this Eastern Washington game, you know turnovers, as always, for quarterbacks will be key.
And on the other side for Eastern Washington, it's an offense that runs. Marcise Yates only carried it 6 times last week, Robert, but 2 of them for touchdowns.
Yeah, this guy's instant offense. And just add a football, and you can hand it off to him. You can throw it to him, and he's not just one of those guys that catches screens and checkdowns. He lines up as a wide receiver. He's electric.
Well, Eastern Washington on the road trying to knock off Boise State in their home opener in front of a sold-out crowd of more than 33,000 in attendance tonight. What a way to kick off Week 2 here on FS1. We've got a toasty Friday night in Boise, Idaho. 88 degrees, a high that was in the 90s all week long with 5-mile-per-hour winds. But they've got a sold-out crowd in attendance tonight for the home opener for the Broncos. That's a look at Aaron Best, 9th year as the head coach of Eastern Washington, a former lineman. He's been a student or on the coaching staff for nearly 3 decades at Eastern Washington. And Spencer Danielson, year 2 as the full-time head coach after leading the Broncos to a college football playoff a season ago. They start 0-1 after a 27-point loss to South Florida in Week 1, trying to right the ship this week.
Here we are at the blue turf, and of course Eastern Washington, home of the red turf. Red versus blue, toe meets leather, let's go.
Off we go on a Friday night from Boise, and that's through the back of the end zone for a touchback. Eastern Washington won the toss, they deferred. Boise State's offense comes out first. We already talked about it moments ago, Robert, but Maddox Matson, preseason player of the year in the Mountain West, led the league in passing yards and touchdowns a season ago.
But make no mistake about it, this is Boise State football, and Nate Potter, the offensive coordinator, said it best this week. We're going to be a run team first, we're going to be a play-action team second, and we're going to be a drop-back team third. They want to get that run going. Really thought they got away from their game plan a week ago.
Ashton Genty is gone. Sire Gaines takes over on his first touch. He has a seam, and he bursts through across midfield. A stiff arm of the defender, and he steps out of bounds inside the 30. An opening play run of 46 yards from Sire Gaines.
Sometimes they look exactly the way that you draw them up. You get the 2 pullers out in front, go with a little counter, you get a guard pulling, you get a tight end pulling. Nothing but blue turf for Gaines for a while, gets that stiff arm working just a little bit. But just a great job. That's exactly the way that you draw it up on the board, exactly the way that it worked on the field.
Played just 3 games last year as a true freshman before a season-ending injury. Malik Sherrod with a great carry inside the 20. Give him 9.5. He is just shy of a first down.
Well, I guarantee you Tim Keene, the offensive line coach this week, said, hey, boys, we're going to be running that football today. Offensive linemen, you know, those guys, they want to get downhill. They want to be going forward. They don't want to be backing up in pass protection. They want to get downhill. Obviously, early going with Boise State dominating up front.
Second and less than a yard. Sherrod's got the first down as he goes tumbling over his lineman. It's a 3-play drive for a touchdown.
Well, the third time was the charm for 6. And Malik Sherrod, he's more of the quick guy, but you can see right there, does a nice job bouncing off of defenders, and they really talk about that late cut ability. He is so quick, kind of seeing the flow of defenders, and that last cutback is the one that got him into the end zone.
Colton Boomer's kick is deflected. It is blocked and no good.
Kick was blocked.
They don't get the extra point out of it, but Boise State's offense is incredible on the ground. 3 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Well, if you blinked, you missed an electric opening drive for Boise State. 3 plays, 75 yards, all of them on the ground, Robert, and they told us this week the emphasis was to run the football, and man, did they on that opening drive.
Yeah, and of course, Spencer Danielson, once again, he talked about effort and mentality really kind of being non-negotiables for this team. And I love that CLIMB acronym that they talked about: compete, love, integrity, mentality, belief. And, you know, to people that haven't been in the locker room, that just sounds like talk, but inside of a locker room, you believe in those elements and you want to go out and put them together the best way that you can.
Colton Boomer's kick is out of the back of the end zone. A touchback to start this drive for Eastern Washington, who on the road last week in week 1 lost to Incarnate Word, but that was a top 5 team in the FCS, and they had a chance, Robert, with the football, about 8 minutes to go, down 3, driving into Incarnate Word territory, fumbled it, unable to come back from that.
Yeah, and obviously it's a bigger challenge today going on the road against a Boise State team, but you know, Aaron Best is one of those guys that was just born to coach. He originally wanted to be a teacher. Both of his parents were teachers, but make no mistake about it, just like Boise State, these guys believe in their program and they want to come out and play hard today.
Says Jared Taylor. The quarterback keeps it himself on the opening play, and look at him keeping those legs churning down to the 40 for 15 yards on the opening play.
QB run, always so dangerous in Boise State. Of course, they saw it a week ago from South Florida. A little bit different variation right there. Go with the little empty, takes it right up the middle.
He is a run-first quarterback. That is no question about that. Marcise Yates makes one miss, hesitates, lowers the shoulder, and he's still ripped down behind the line of scrimmage.
Boy, and you can see that speed from Yates, man. Not the biggest guy in the world, 5'9", 175, but as they say, it's not size of the dog of the fight, it's the size of the fight in that dog. Yates got some dog in him, but he's got some burst too.
Taylor to throw for the first time today, slings it to the far sideline. It's pulled in just shy of the 45 by Noah Cronquist, the do-it-all receiver, for 7 yards. Cronquist, a redshirt senior who is a wide receiver, the kick returner, the punt returner. He has the versatility to impact the game in so many different ways, that wide receiver spot.
Yeah, and they talked about his blocking ability, and they won't have guys get the ball unless they're going to block. It's great to have that mentality. You see motioning to empty, 4 receivers on one side, cleared up on the left.
Taylor's looking this way, caught on the slant. That's Jackson Branch. He got a couple yards. The ball was loose. Boise State says they have it, and they do. The defense comes away with a stop, a turnover, and it's Jaden Mickey who's getting his first start today, who comes away with the football.
We're going to take another look at this. You see, just trying to fight. You know, you get two hands in traffic, but he's just fighting and fighting and fighting. Mickey, they talk about Mickey, the transfer from Notre Dame, how analytical he is. He was analyzing the way to get that ball out there, fighting all the way, able to get that thing out. Great job. And it was a great defensive call by Eric Chenander. You know, going in that 4-by-1 formation, it looked like Eastern Washington was going to try and get that ball to the receiver isolated on the left side. They were showing press man-to-man, but dropped off, so the quarterback couldn't go that way.
Boise State takes over at the 41 after the fumble. Maddox Matson just throws it out of play on the first play of the drive. That was the first time they went to the air today, because the opening drive was 3 plays, 75 yards, all of them on the ground for a touchdown, including a 46-yard run by Sire Gaines. I thought for a moment, Robert, we were going to have back-to-back weeks with a first-play touchdown in our game.
Yeah, that was fun to see a week ago. Pretty much all that offense did for the next 3 quarters.
Sire Gaines on the ground. This one will not go for 46. It'll go for 1 yard.
And Eric Sanders, he's talked about this defensive front. You look at these guys, you know, you're talking about 220 defensive end, 260 on a defensive end, 272. Perez, you know, an interior tackle, and then of course Laulu, who's the only 300-pounder. They're not the biggest guys in the world, but they can be very disruptive with their movement, especially going against a big offensive line like Boise.
3rd and 9, quick pass. That's the tight end, Matt Lauder, who makes the catch behind his body and spins for a first down.
You called it, partner. You saw it right away. I mean, this throw is a little bit behind Lauder, and we heard Potter talking about how Lauder developed, and how this was a guy that was formerly a defensive end on the scout team, but he got into the broader discussion of how it's important to look at guys that you can convert. You look at former quarterbacks, former wide receivers, and you move them to tight end, especially when they have that type of athletic ability.
Play action. Madsen wants to go back to Lauder, juggled and nearly intercepted, but it falls incomplete.
Boy, just not enough air on this football. Talk about that play action. This was an opportunity, and Madsen just doesn't get enough air on this thing, although that ball should have been caught. Just kind of goes right through the hands of Lauder, but he throws that thing up a little bit higher, and that would be easier. Sometimes what happens when you get your eyes back to a ball like that, the defender can kind of move their hands in front of it, can be a little bit distracting, and gets on you a little bit faster than you think.
2nd down, Lauder, the catch inside the 10. Gone to him 3 straight times. He's caught 2 of them, and this one gives Boise State a 1st and goal after 17 yards.
Well, Nate Potter, he talked about the effectiveness of having tight ends, and this one's just going to be a nice little seam shot. And Lauder does an excellent job with the little freeze delay at the line of scrimmage. That's a well-designed play, and it kind of throws defenders off. They see that tight end stay on the line of scrimmage, and that's why Nate Potter talks about how offenses are so effective when they have effective tight ends.
Gaines left side, touchdown Broncos. From 8 yards out, and it's 2 for 2 in terms of touchdown drives for Boise State.
Well, it's rare that you get into the end zone completely untouched, but I want you to watch this offensive line. Got a little bit of duo action there, and duo is basically power type football, gap football without a puller, so you get those double teams up front. Everybody for Boise State locks up. It's an easy walk into the end zone for Gaines.
Sherrod's got a rushing touchdown. Now Gaines has one. Colton Boomer's kick this time is good to make it 13-0 Boise State.
And the microphone fiend, he's coming on. How about that? 2 touchdowns. Boise State, Eastern Washington. See if they can come back in this.
Tomorrow, the Cyhawk Series takes center stage. It all starts at 10 a.m. Eastern with the best pregame show in college football, live from the campus of Iowa State. Then Rocco Becht leads the Cyclones in a showdown against rival Iowa on Big Noon Saturday, only on Fox. I love that rivalry, Robert.
I really do. I love that, the Farmageddon. I love all these. I love those rivalries, but especially Iowa and Iowa State. They're just different, man. You know, I'm a Midwest guy, so a little bit biased, but it's just a little bit different, especially with those two programs. Ames, just such a great place to play, an amazing college town.
13-0 after 2 drives for Boise State. Eastern Washington, 3 plays, turned it over, Robert, and allowed Boise State to take over at the +41. They have to get something going offensively here, even just to move the football.
Yeah, no question about it, just to give your defense a little bit of a rest. Obviously, that first drive wasn't very long because it was only 3 plays, but yeah, you want to come out on the road, and you know, this is one of the first things Aaron Best, the head coach, is going to say to his team. We can't afford to turn the ball over. So that's the last thing that you can do. But you're absolutely right. Got to get a little bit of momentum here on offense. And you got a guy like Yates in your backfield. Try and find a way to get him the ball.
They fake to him here. Taylor rolls out, hit as he throws, and that's too tall for his intended target. It's an Eastern Washington team, too, that is brand new, Robert. 5 new faces on the offensive line. They lost 7,000 snaps from last year's team.
Yeah, it really is amazing. And in this era of college football with NIL and the portal, all those things that are going on, you combine that with graduation, it's just so tough to get all those guys in and ready. And there's no preseason in college football, of course.
Taylor keeps it on the left side. He falls forward down to the 30 before Jeremiah Irby makes the stop for 5 yards.
Yeah, that's one where you get a puller coming around. You get one of your offensive linemen pulling around. As a runner, whether you're a running back or a quarterback, if you've got a puller, you've got to slow down just a little bit. Now, it's hard. It's hard to do that and be patient and wait for that guy. But he's that little bit of a convoy to take on that first tackler on the outside. That's what happened there.
3rd down. Taylor again, left side, follows the blocks. He's got a first down, and he's ripped down shy of the 40 by Zion Washington after 9 yards.
Yeah, and we talked about Nolan Ulm and this wide receiving core with Cronquist, what kind of blockers they are on the outside. You're going to see Noah Ulm come into your picture right there. Look at that block. That's the one that really sprung him and got him that much-needed first down. Move the chains. New set of downs coming up. 4 receivers here to the left. They're trying that same formation.
Fake the screen. Now Taylor unloads, has a man, and he just overshoots him. He had Noah Cronquist out in the open field, but they couldn't connect.
Boy, you just cannot miss the layups if you're a quarterback. Going to be wide open here because all of those eyes are focused on the bunch. You can see Ty Benefield, the safety, he's going over the same way. Taylor makes that throw. Just easy throw. And we talk about that sometimes. It's the easiest ones that can be the hardest. He makes that throw. That's 6.
Taylor follows a block from his fullback for a couple yards across the 40 to the 42.
And that's really the second time we've seen a ball that's been a little bit too high from Jared Taylor. He had a miss here earlier on that drive on the right-hand side of the formation, and really, footwork is the source of most of the inaccuracies from quarterbacks, and sometimes that's just not stepping into the throw. We'll see how Taylor does the rest of the day.
There is a flag before the play and a false start here against the Eagles.
False start. Offense, number 88. Draw penalty. Third down.
Landon Cooper, the tight end, jumps before the snap and makes this 3rd down a long one. 3rd and 12 coming up for Aaron Best's team.
And these are the things, once again, that a coach is going to harp on. You cannot turn the ball over, and you don't want to get stupid penalties. And you get a penalty like that, you talk about it, go from 3rd and 6 to 3rd and 12.
Taylor dumps it off. It's Yates, the running back, with a stiff arm of the defender, but he got yanked down by Ty Benefield. A loss of 3, and this Boise State defense has been suffocating.
Boy, just brutal for this Eastern Washington offense. Be in that situation. You get a long down and distance like that. I mean, credit the Boise State defense. But because of that penalty, it just changes what you can call. And offensive coordinator Mark Anderson for Eastern Washington, the options and what you can do, but more importantly, what that defense is going to be able to react to quickly, as Boise State was able to do right there.
Landon Ogles to punt it away. Malik Sherrod back to field it. Lets it bounce, and it takes a great Eastern Washington bounce inside the 5.
Well, here's your opportunity. Special teams, talk about that third phase. Great punt there, letting that thing go. Boise State going to be backed up, but they're up 13-0, and they'll have the ball when we come back.
Robert, when you got one running back averaging 18 yards a carry and the other 14 yards a carry, things are going well.
Yeah, things are going well when the big guys up front are getting their job done and getting you untouched to the second and sometimes even the third level. But you can see Malik Sherrod on that run right there. They call him lightning, but he ran with a little bit of thunder and power. And then you can see Sire Gaines like, hey, man, I can do that too.
As a team, 5 carries for 84 yards. This is Sire Gaines as he crawls across the 5 down to the 8. Jalen Jenkins makes the stop for the Eagles.
Yeah, Nate Potter, the offensive coordinator, talked about Sire Gaines a week ago. You know, he's a bigger guy, but, you know, there is no preseason, again, in college like we have in professional football. And he said that Sire got a little bit gassed last week, and it's just different. Like, even with all the conditioning, when you have the adrenaline of game day, it tends to make you a little bit more tired. It's good that you have a couple backs you can rotate.
Madsen has all the time in the world. Now he's flushed to the right and heaves it out of bounds. Tylen Jackson had the pressure on him. And back to that point about Gaines, too, is he only played in 3 games last year as a true freshman. He averaged about 8 yards a carry, got off to a great start, but a season-ending injury. So he also hadn't played football in a game in for about a year.
Yeah, no question about it. And I love watching him. He reminds me of Joe Mixon. And I remember when Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon were running the ball out of the same backfield in Oklahoma. Dave Wanstead put it best. He said, I like Perine, but that Mixon guy gets me up out of my seat. Sire Gaines will get you up out of your seat.
Near sideline, near the marker, that's Matt Lauder, the tight end, who pulls in his 3rd catch of the game. And that's just shy of a first down.
This is going to be a nice little out route, and the timing here is so important. When you get that receiver going to the sideline, got to make sure that that ball's out on time, because even in college football where you only need to get that 1 foot in, especially if it's a tight end, you don't want to have them doing the little tiptoe through the tulips on the sideline. Make it a nice, easy throw as soon as he comes out of his break.
Eastern Washington defense forces a 3 and out. Down 13-0.
Are they going to punt it?
They are, finally. Oscar Doyle boots it away. And Noah Cronquist calls for a fair catch at the 38. By far the best starting field position Eastern Washington has had today after the 48-yard punt.
That's why those 3 phases are so important. And credit that Eastern Washington defense. Defensive coordinator Eric Sanders, once again, we talk about the size mismatch, right? Like it's going to happen when you have formerly the championship subdivision. I guess they're still calling it that, even though both now have championships. There's going to be a size mismatch, but his guys did a really good job. And on the back end, you know, you talk about the front and the coverage working together and how they're married. If you're covering those guys up on the back end, even those smaller defensive linemen can get home eventually.
Eric Shinander, the defensive coordinator for Boise State, said, we just did not play Boise State football last week, and a lot of the focus was about effort and mentality going into this week. Jared Taylor fakes the handoff, rolls right, launches, he's got Cronquist, and it's broken up at the last second. Jaden Mickey getting his first start today. The Notre Dame transfer has made a couple big plays. That one and the fumble recovery on the opening drive.
Well, you want your safeties to be able to cover a lot of ground, and that's what you're going to see from Mickey here. Look, easy for me to say as I'm standing up or standing in this nice, comfortable booth, but that's the kind of ball you don't want to get that much air on the ball because it allows the safety time to react and get over to knock that ball away.
Second down, it's kept. Taylor fakes the toss, and he got clipped hard at the 43. A 4-yard pickup, but a painful 4 yards at that for Jared Taylor.
And that was Jaden Mickey again, coming up and making that stick. We saw him covering all that ground, knocking that ball away on the last play, but that's what a great safety can do. Not just cover some ground, but lay that hat on somebody too.
Eastern Washington was the best third down offense in the nation at the FCS level a season ago. Just 1 of 3 so far today.
And of course he goes the other way.
Taylor left, sets, throws, completes. Cronquist on the far sideline into Boise State territory.
Nice job with that route combination. You've got one player going to the flat, but you've got this kind of levels concept, and it puts that flat defender in conflict. And they say, if you're a defensive back coach, don't take the cheese, don't take that short route, don't take the cheese. They took the cheese right there, able to hit that route up over the top to get the first down.
Fresh set of downs. Taylor follows a lead block, trying to spin away from the defender, but Devon Banks drills him backwards.
And yeah, Banks had a tough week last week. Penalty in that game and lost that starting spot. Watch him come up here, drive those legs, and he's all smiles. I saw that grill last week. You still got that grill in there? Oh, that grill's out. Maybe they made him get rid of the grill for the week.
Second and long. Fakes the throw a couple times. Defense suffocates, and down goes Taylor.
Well, this is one of those plays where you're trying to get a fake to the left, fake to the right. You're going to try and set up some sort of middle screen here, but you have to beware. You get those big players in the middle, and again, that size mismatch. You don't want your offensive lineman to have to hold up that long, and you're a stationary target as a quarterback in the middle on that play. You got to get some sort of movement or get that ball out.
Third and long. Again, Taylor drilled as he throws. Does complete the pass. It's Jackson Branch near the 40. 12 yards on the pickup, but it is fourth down for the Eagles.
And Mark Anderson talked about Jackson Branch and said he's that guy. Watch the way he works back to this football. I love to see that from the young receiver, and that's why he said the redshirt freshman out of Chandler, Arizona, had the highest upside of anybody in that receiver room.
Had offers from Arizona, Arizona State, and Washington State. Committed here to Eastern Washington. Fourth down, offense stays on the field. Taylor zips it into the air. Sideline is broken up. Zion Washington with the deflection.
The Broncos able to hold on fourth down. They're going to get the ball back. They've already got the lead, 13-0. We'll see if they can add to that total. Well, especially when you're on the road and you're down 13-0, you can't miss too many of these opportunities. Jared Taylor, you're going to see this guy buzz to the flat. You're going to see the safety stay flat-footed. Look at Jackson Branch wide open down the field. I mean, the reason there was a defender out in the flat is because he came out of the middle of the field. Sometimes they set up these alerts for quarterbacks. If you see this, this is the guy you got to go to. You got to think with Jackson Branch and his speed, he probably should have gone there.
Madsen uncorks one down the seam, has a man, it's caught. One play, touchdown Boise State, it's Ben Ford. A 60-yard strike puts Boise State up 19-0.
Well, you're just going to have a speed mismatch, not going to get out of that break soon enough. You see that subtle move to the outside. They said that the best wide receivers are good actors. They're going to make one route look like another route. Just that quick little head nod to the outside gets that defender to stop those feet, and that's enough for him to run right by him.
"20 straight to open the scoring at home for Boise State. And it's the local kid, Ben Ford, who grew up in Eagle, Idaho, 11 miles from where we're at.
Boy, and a great throw. And we talked about Maddox, Madsen, and you're playing the quarterback position. We have not seen this from Jared Taylor. You don't want to miss the layups. You only get so many of those opportunities to get wide open throws like that. You just can't afford to miss them, and that's exactly what you saw from Maddox Madsen.
First touchdown pass for Madsen today. 97 yards through the air, but all it took was one play to go 60 yards to give the Broncos a 20-0 lead in the first quarter. First career touchdown for the redshirt senior, who has already eclipsed the amount of catches he had in the entire season last year.
Colton Boomer, the kicker. Can't get a better name than that. So much better than Blewett. How did Pitt have a kicker named Blewett and a quarterback named Pickett?
Oh, that's terrible. Boomer fits a kicker, doesn't it?
It sure does.
He even just nailed the pylon in the back of the end zone. Precision from Colton Boomer.
Yeah, I like the layups as an announcer too. The boomer and kicker. Like, I don't want to have to stretch too far for my dad type jokes.
185 yards of total offense in the first 12 minutes and 11 seconds of this game. It's been all Boise State after getting, in Spencer Danielson's words, embarrassed last week by South Florida, 34-7. He said effort and mentality are non-negotiables in this program. We need to play Boise State football. I get who the opponent is, Robert, but it looks like they're playing Boise State football.
Yeah, no question about it. And I know that was a tough film session. Film don't lie, and it showed a lot of bad things from Boise a week ago.
Fake to Yates. The completion is to the tight end, Landon Cooper, as he goes spinning down to the 30 for 5 yards.
And Jaden Mickey comes up and had an opportunity to make that tackle, but he doesn't wrap that time. And we see that so often with defensive backs these days, just kind of throwing that shoulder in. You got to wrap on there. You get him in second and long.
Taylor looking left the whole way. There is a flag that is thrown towards the end of the play.
See who looks the most guilty out of all those linemen in the middle.
Holding. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty. Remain second down.
The answer is the left tackle, Dylan Connor. Backs up this Eagles offense 5 yards, makes it 2nd and 15. You mentioned it last drive too, Robert. Eastern Washington has had their opportunities. It's just been a couple missed throws here and there that's really been the difference between them going 3 and out and being able to extend drive.
Yeah, and then you have a holding penalty. You so rarely are able to get a first down after a holding penalty, which can be so costly with 10 yards.
Taylor snaps it to that far side. It's Marcise Yates, the running back, who gets the penalty yardage back.
No, he
said it was on the ground.
Yeah,
okay.
It's on the ground. That's 3rd and 15. And again, your offensive coordinator, Mark Anderson, you know, what do you really want to do? You're backed up to your 20, you're down 20-0 in the game. And the defenders are, they're always yelling, watch the screen, watch the draw. But sometimes that's just the safest things. But watch for the legs of Taylor here just to try and get a few more yards.
As you called it, he uses the legs on a designed quarterback run, and he gets upended just shy of the 30 for 8 yards. Jeremiah Irby with the stop to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, you just don't want to do anything crazy in a situation like that because it's just so easy. And it's not like you've seen your quarterback light the world on fire with his accuracy and with his ability even to make some of the easier throws. So you risk something if you try and throw it downfield on there, some sort of tip, and that's the thing that you least want. this can be a field position type game or a field position type decision. Just kick it away.
Couldn't come back from the penalty, a 3-and-out, punts it away. Malik Sherrod, a little bit of drama there, but he's able to make the fair catch near the 35. Well, it was a season to remember a year ago for Boise State. They lost just one game in the regular season. Ashton Jeanty put on a historic season, more than 2,600 yards, the runner-up for the Heisman Trophy. They win their second consecutive Mountain West title, Robert, and they get to play in the college football playoff.
Yeah, what an incredible run, no pun intended. Yeah, it was really a lot of fun to watch Ashton Jeanty, but you know, it's always a new challenge, especially with young players. I mean, it could be a challenge from quarter to quarter, let alone year to year.
Malik Sherrod, one of the 3 running backs who is taking over that role that Ashton Jeanty left.
Yeah, and make no mistake about it, none of these guys really thought that they were going to be Ashton Jeanty. And like they've said it point blank, like Sire Gaines said, hey, I'm not trying to fill his shoes. I'm trying to create my own shoes, right? But the reality of the situation is right now with Sherrod, with Riley, and with Gaines, all 3 of those running backs, they're going to share the duty. They're going to go a little bit of hot hand. Nobody is really separated from the pack.
Sherrod again, this time to the right side, stretching to the edge, and he's got a first down. A 5-year transfer from Fresno State who ran for over 1,500 yards in his career. Suffered a season-ending injury just 4 games into the season a year ago, and he comes here for his final year of college football. 3rd consecutive carry, bursts through the hole into Eastern Washington territory down to the 46.
Well, you're just seeing a lot of space, and that's indicative of a line that's really controlling the line of scrimmage. Running back not getting touched until they're 4 or 5 yards downfield. You know those big guys up front are getting it done, and you have to think about this defensive line for Eastern Washington with the time of possession being as lopsided as it is, as hot as it was today in Boise. Those guys have got to be gassed.
Play action, Madsen rolling right, throws off his back foot. Matt Wagner, the 2nd tight end for Boise State, upended across the 30. It's 17 yards and a first down for the Broncos. End of quarter number 1, and it has been all Broncos. Thumbs up if you're a Boise State fan. 20-0 after the first 15 minutes on FS1. Blue turf, blue hair. Robert wanted me to dye my hair for the game tonight, but I said no.
You didn't even make any jokes about me not having hair.
I'm a nice. It's only week 2. I figured if I brought that up already, we wouldn't be off to a good start today.
I have hair. It's just not a lot. It's not as much as it used to be.
Yeah, week 7, I'm making that for sure.
I saw a fan that had dressed up at the USF game a week ago, a Boise State fan, and they were dressed up like Fred Flintstone. They were looking very unhappy.
Start of the second quarter, balls on the deck. Sire Gaines is able to regather. Get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, you're going to see the exchange here. Watch the arms, just going to be a little bit high on the inside, a little bit away from the body, and he tries to grab the football. Now, your job as a running back is to get the ball. The quarterback's job is to get it to you. But what you cannot do is start reaching for the football. You've got to wait until that ball gets into your pocket, because if you reach for the football, the quarterback is going to expect your arms to be out of the way. Here he goes the wrong way.
Yeah, miscommunication that time between Madsen and Sire, and Madsen able to get maybe a yard or 2 on what was a broken play.
Well, it certainly looks like this is supposed to go this way, unless it's supposed to be an underneath handoff, which I doubt, but it looks like they're going zone to the left, so it looked like Madsen just kind of got thrown off there. And, you know, sometimes when those mechanics get thrown off, you know, like that last time quarterback or the running back starts reaching for the ball, knocks it away. Next play, you get a little bit flustered. Just got to settle down, especially here, 3rd and long in the red zone.
Hasn't been a great start to the quarter on the first 2 plays after a first quarter that Boise State had 220 yards of total offense. Dumps it over the middle, and the pass was batted. Tylen Jackson, who's been in the backfield a couple times to make a play today, gets his hand on it, brings up 4th down.
Yeah, nice job by Tylen Jackson, and just timing that thing up. And people say get your hands up all the time, but remember, you're a defensive lineman. It's about matching the hand of the quarterback. So whether it's a right-handed quarterback, left-handed quarterback, sometimes they have the tendency to try and fit it into certain areas. So you're really watching the way that that ball's coming out. Tylen Jackson did an excellent job getting that paw in the way.
46-yard attempt for Colton Boomer, his first attempt of the season. Good snap, good hold, kick on the way. It is wide left.
Sounded like it was blocked. Sounded like I heard 2 hits there, but maybe not.
Eastern Washington's defense gets a stand. They force a missed field goal from Boise State. Still 20-0 Broncos.
Here we go. The NFL regular season kicks off on Fox September 7th as the Giants take on reigning Offensive Rookie of the Year Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. The Niners take on the Seahawks or other regional action. The NFL is back September 7th on Fox.
Week 1 of the NFL, week 2 of college football. Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, your schedule is booked. I love it.
It's kind of week 3 of college football.
Yeah,
you have the week 0.
Yeah.
Overseas games. It's just different, man. It's different, and it's so much better. The world is just so much better when there's football going on.
It's a 5-yard pickup on the opening play of this drive for Marcise Yates, the redshirt junior, who carried it just 6 times last week. 2 of them for touchdowns, also had 7 catches. He was impactful at every facet for Eastern Washington's offense.
We'll see if they can stay on schedule this drive.
This is Nate Bell, who is listed as the backup quarterback, but they line him up everywhere on the field. He picks up 6 and a first down.
Yeah, he's certainly got some talent. And you mentioned it, Parker, the backup quarterback. Nice call here. You get a 2nd and 5. Oh, there they go. They converted. I was going to say you're going to have a 3rd and very short, but did a nice job staying on schedule that drive. No penalties, nothing done, no lost plays. Can't afford to do that down 20-0. You got the break of Boise missing the field goal. Take advantage.
Bell again, right at the line to gain, and he gets twisted out of bounds by Ty Benefield. Back-to-back great runs for Nate Bell, and it moves the chains again.
Yeah, you love seeing that orbit motion. Get everybody on somebody. Just a hat on a hat, as we used to call it. But you got running backs, you got wide receivers out there, but Bell, yeah, he's limping a little bit. That's the danger of your backup quarterback running plays like that.
He's in motion again from left to right into the backfield. Why not give it to him again? 3rd straight run for Nate Bell. This one is just a yard before David Latu, the nose tackle, yanks him down. David Latu, the one that Eric Shinander, the defensive coordinator, called a giggly guy. He said he's like a large child. He quickly said, I mean that in the best way possible.
Yeah, of course he did. You know, he said he's married. They joke around, call him Unk. You got a boomer and an Unk out there. We got all generations covered.
2nd down from midfield. Taylor spits it out to the sideline. It's incomplete. And that's probably good news for Eastern Washington, because it would have been about a loss of 4 if that was completed.
Well, you love seeing this because, you know, Chinander, the defensive coordinator, are going to call the blitz off the edge, and then you want to take away what their answer is going to be. If we bring this pressure, where do you think they're going to go with the football? And you get a defender on that player right away, and Amarian McCoy able to make a play.
3rd and 9. Taylor activates the leg, sets, launches down the middle. It's pulled in at the 15.
Signaling a catch.
Miles Williams on 3rd and 9 goes up to get it for 36 yards.
Boy, and what a throw here from Taylor all the way back across his body. Never throw it late across the middle unless you know that your guy's going to bring it down. And Miles Williams goes up. Nice, strong hands to bring that thing in.
First red zone trip of the day for the Eagles. Flares it out to Yates, the running back, and he gets pushed out of bounds with 2 hands by Zion Washington after a pickup of 4.
This is exactly what the doctor ordered, though, right? I mean, you get a missed field goal from Boise State, so you get a bit of a reprieve there. You've had a turnover in the game. You've had some penalties that have stalled some drives, but you're only down 20-0. Could be a lot worse if you're Eastern Washington, and here you have an opportunity to get some points on the board.
Second and 6. With Taylor rolling right, throws on the run. Nolan Olms got it. He's ripped out of bounds at the 4, which is the line to gain. We'll see if it's enough to make it 1st and goal or not. Just short, about a half a yard shy.
Well, that's okay. This is definitely 4-down territory, down 20-0 in this game. I don't think that you're going to kick a field goal anyway, but this one might be an opportunity to bunch everybody up, make them think that you're going to run and pop a pass on the outside.
Taylor keeps it, follows the block of Yetz. He got stood up at the line of scrimmage. Ball came out, but it was way after the ball was loose. Marco Notriani, the middle linebacker, came in to make a punishing hit.
Boy, they're marking this short of the 1st down. This is the big run that they had on first play of the game, and who called it? Marco Notriani comes up, makes that stop. He looks like a Notriani right there. Looks like Rocky he was taking a few punches, and Mick had to fix him up in the corner.
4th and less than a yard from the 5. Taylor holds on to it again for an Eagles touchdown. Eastern Washington on the board with a 5-yard touchdown run from the quarterback, Jared Taylor.
Watch Corning just get enough, just a little bit of a chip, so that defender is not able to fall back in and make that play. Nice call, getting your athletic quarterback to the edge. A nice job of Aiden Corning. That tackle spot, just getting enough.
2nd rushing touchdown this season for the quarterback, Jared Taylor. The point after is there to cut the deficit down to 13. What a drive for Eastern Washington. 10 plays, almost 5 minutes off the clock, and the Eagles are on the board, down 20-7. Who's faster, man or dog? We're about to find out who's smarter, because look at this from the dog. Comes over, takes the human's tee, leaves him without one, and then easily wins the race back, Robert.
A little canine disrespect for Homo sapiens right there. But, you know, that's been the scouting report on this dog. He's really good out of his breaks. Likes to showboat a little bit.
Who doesn't, you know? Love it.
That is so great. He gets a little water on the sideline like that.
Nice reward for winning the race.
A couple milk bones, potentially.
Eastern Washington's first touchdown drive of the game. They went 10 plays, 72 yards. Cut the deficit down to 13, and with 8:53 to go before halftime, feels like a little bit of a different game after it was all Boise State. Malik Sherrod on the return, out to the 20, and that's where the Broncos offense begins this drive after a missed field goal last time out on the field.
Well, you like to see this if you're Eastern Washington, though, right? Like, you're down 20-0 on the road against Boise State. You go down, you score your touchdown, and then your special teams once again, right? We talk about the importance of special teams, and had that punt earlier in the day that was able to pin Boise State. And then you get your coverage unit going and get everybody a little bit fired up. Let's see what the defense can do. They've been dominated up front. You might need to get extra bodies up there.
Give it to Sire Gaines, who's averaging over 11 yards a carry tonight. Picks up 5 on his first touch of the drive. They are so excited about him too, Robert. Young guy, redshirt freshman, played in just 3 games last year before a season-ending injury, but he's at full strength, and they feel like he can have a breakout year.
Yeah, he certainly can. We've talked about him a lot today, and you know, doesn't quite have the shake of a Malik Sherrod, but he has enough lateral movement. And you combine it with that frame and that power, 6 foot 217, he's a dangerous runner.
He's got another one straight up the gut, lowers the shoulder, a powerful run as he gets a second push from his lineman all the way down to the 45 for 21 yards.
Oh, yeah, this makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I love seeing this. You're going to see the quick move in the hole, makes the safety miss, and then lowers the boom, carries tacklers. Woo! Love it.
Fake it to him. Madsen activates the legs, takes a hit at the 40 to pick up 5 yards.
I don't know, he kind of gave a hit there. He kind of lowered the shoulder a little bit there as well. And Nate Potter, the offensive coordinator, you're like, don't lower that throwing shoulder like that again. You got 2 of them things. Use the non-throwing one if you're going to put it into a defender.
15 yards, not 5, by the way. That's my bad.
Still first down.
Into Eastern Washington territory at the 40. Low snap. Madsen with great protection snaps it over the middle. It's pulled in. Chris Marshall tumbling down to the 10. 29 yards to Chris Marshall.
Well, you're going to see he's going to come across the middle here, and what I love from Maddox Madsen is the patience, but that can't occur unless the offensive line is getting their job done. Just love the anticipation on the throw, waiting for that second window to clear up. Knows exactly where he's supposed to be. The timing has just looked so much better than it did a week ago against South Florida.
First catch of the day for Marshall, who began his career at Texas A&M. Madsen, clean pocket, steps up, climbs the pocket, takes off to the pylon, touchdown Boise State. A quick response from Boise State, 11 yards from the quarterback, Maddox Madsen.
Well, he's going to be watching this when he says, yeah, oh, well, who's going to have a chance out here? I think it's a big defensive lineman. I think I'm going to be able to do that. If I've got an opportunity, nothing downfield, I think I'm going to take off. And what an answer from the Bronco offense. Eastern Washington finally gets on the board. Said, we know how to do that.
Boomer's kick is there. Took just 2 minutes and 19 seconds to go 80 yards and make a quick response.
The Broncos back on the board. They answer Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington, can they answer?
They're excited on that Boise State sideline. A quick response, 2 minutes and 19 seconds to go 80 yards. Maddox Madsen has thrown for 1, and now he's run for 1 tonight, Robert.
Yes, and obviously after the opening loss to South Florida, and the way that it looked on the scoreboard, combined with what Spencer Danielson said was really just not Boise State football, especially late in that game when the score was lopsided. Nice to be able to come back home and show that efficiency.
And he told us yesterday that he said it would have been one thing if we felt we had a bad week of prep going into it. He goes, but we actually thought we were going to play really well in week 1. We had a good week of practice, and he said it almost would have been easier to have had a bad week because then we could have made the correlation to the guys, hey, bad week of practice, bad game. He said, but that really wasn't the case.
Yeah, and I mean, football, you don't get to pick those plays, right? You don't know what those plays going into a game that are really going to change the complexion of the game. And you know, there was a talk about how well they had done on so many plays defensively, and then take away 8 plays. Well, you can't take away those 8 plays. That effort has to be there the whole day.
Nice block from Yates, keeps Taylor alive for now, and he throws it away because of the pursuit of Marco Notriani.
Well, you called it, partner. Marcise Yates, 5'9", 175 pounds, and that's where they list him, so probably a little bit under that, right? He really did a nice job picking up that blitz, and you're a smaller guy. You got to do that chop block sometimes. That certainly slows down those blitzers.
It's time to hand the football to Yates. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. Notriani and Mickey combined for the tackle. Oh, Mark Anderson, too, the offensive coordinator for Eastern Washington, when he was talking about Marcise Yetz, one of the first things he said to us was, hey, he's a 3-down back. He's great in pass protection. He can really block. He's not just a running back.
And he's not just going to catch regular routes. I mean, he's running back routes. He can line up on the outside, and he can run everything on a route tree. Truly a double threat.
Taylor follows a block from Yetz, frees up space for Taylor, and he gets dragged out of bounds near the 30 by Zion Washington.
And tremendous pursuit by Zion Washington. Just turns the Jets on, able to catch Taylor and stop him before he's able to get the first down. Nice job, not horse collar tackling. Watch him close that space, and he sees that hand's getting into a dangerous area. Doesn't pull him down there, but he uses his weight properly. Great speed, great closing, and excellent form to make the tackle.
Had a 7-tackle game last week against UCF. He was one person who looked really good on that defense for Boise State.
False start. Offense, number 10. 5-yard penalty. Raise 4th down.
And then he just goes back to return the punt. Might be punts. No, it's not going to be punt safe.
Landon Ogles to punt. Malik Sherrod lets it bounce near the 40. He takes it off a hop at the 32 on the far sideline, makes one miss, and there is a flag at the very end of the play. As of now, the return is 13 yards from Sherrod. We'll have to check in on the penalty marker.
And got a little bit of a conference there. They're discussing it. I don't know if that was a late hit, or maybe they thought it was a late hit by the way that the runner went down, and they have another look at it. But it looks like now they're pointing back in the area where the return was, so maybe it might be a block in the back. We'll see here.
There are 2 fouls on the return team. Holding, number 44. That penalty is declined. Illegal block in the back, number 44. That penalty is accepted. The 10-yard penalty forced within the run. 1st down.
So both against Boise State, backs that return up 10 yards. Spencer Danielson's team has scored 4 touchdowns on their first 6 drives today, taking a 27-7 lead, and with 4:47 to go before halftime, a chance to extend this 20-point lead. With Dylan Riley in the backfield for the first time today for Boise State, the 3rd running back the Broncos have used.
All kinds of space down there.
Madsen down the seam, and it is incomplete. There was a flag thrown back at the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty. Mays 1st down.
It's Hall Schmidt who gets called for the holding. He had a great pancake block on that last touchdown run by Maddox Madsen in the last drive.
Yeah, and Hall Schmidt, that he rotates at that right tackle spot with Matoyer. Just costly type penalties, especially in a situation like this at the end of the half. We talk about the effect of holding penalties on drives.
1st and 20, spits it out. This is Dylan Riley, the running back. Give him 4 yards, brings up 2nd and long for the Broncos. Riley and Gaines were here last year, and the offensive coordinator, Nate Potter, was telling us yesterday just how much they soaked up from Ashton Jeanty. They wanted to learn from him, and they took in everything that he was willing to teach them. 2nd and 16. They give to Riley his first carry of the game after that catch. He's got 5 yards, and it's 3rd and 11 now.
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, running back rooms, you know, wide receiver rooms, I guess the further you get away from the ball, they tend to be a little bit more diva-ish. I'll just say that. And I'm not just trying to say that to defend being a former running back. Running back rooms are generally pretty tight, and we do, as much as we compete, we celebrate the success of the others and very open to passing on that knowledge.
Flag at the beginning of the play, down the same way catch. Woo! Ben Ford lunging out to make a spectacular grab. A 30-yard pickup to the redshirt senior Ben Ford.
Number 82 and 5 of the offense were in motion at the time of the snap. That's a foul for illegal shift.
Back it up.
5-yard penalty from the previous
wow.
Makes third down.
Erases what was a phenomenal catch by Ben Ford. He's looking up at the big screen here. He wants to get an explanation for that.
Yeah, you can't be in motion at the same time, and if you have two players moving, then you have to come to a full stop. So you got the motion right here. Wait a second. What did we see?
Yeah,
we need an explanation. This is something where review has to come in. Like, wait a minute. What players? I don't get this. I don't get this at all. Offsetting penalties, gotcha.
Oh, it was offsides as well. Okay.
Replay the down.
So 3rd and 11 still. Matson snaps it over the middle. Pass is incomplete. That is great one-on-one coverage by Jalen Jenkins. Mike Pereira's with us now. We want to bring him in to get a little bit of a better explanation on that last play. What do you got, Mike?
Well, I thought that they had called offside, but then they didn't mention it at first. But yes, it was an illegal shift because the receiver at the bottom of the screen, watch, he's not going to be upset when the receiver on top now goes in motion. So you can see there that now they both have to set, and that's why the illegal shift call was made.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, that's a tough way to negate what would have been a 30-yard pickup and a first down into Eastern Washington territory. Instead, one play later, the punt unit's out. Oscar Doyle, the punt, fair catch. And Noah Cronquist lets it bounce, and it is picked up inside the 5. A 60-yard punt by Oscar Doyle to back up Eastern Washington.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, I guess, you know, Spencer Danielson, you know, and coaches will sometimes say they have a plan going into halftime, right? Like, so one of them's going to plan something like, I'm going to throw something, I'm going to break something. Like, I got to let them know that we got to stay in the game. And that penalty, it's almost a blessing in disguise if you're the Boise State coaching staff, because Eastern Washington's going to have another opportunity to score. You weren't able to extend that lead. You still have an opportunity here. But that's one of those things. If it doesn't go perfectly, then you got plenty to still yell about at halftime.
Drive starts at the 4. Taylor holds on to it, and he is spun down after a pickup of just 1 by Amarion McCoy.
Well, it looks like he had an opportunity to take this thing up a little bit tighter, and keeps that angle to the outside. When you get those pullers, you know, as a runner, what you're taught is to hug double teams and to follow those pullers. And if you get too far separated from the edge, basically the last block, you want to get vertical as soon as you can.
Keeps it this time to the left side, and there is nothing going again. Maybe a yard for a second consecutive carry, but it brings up 3rd and 8 for Eastern Washington.
Yeah, what you see from this Boise State defensive line is these guys are just fighting through blocks. I mean, Madry, big number 99 on that defensive front. Just don't stay blocked. Got to be aggressive. Defeat the block, show color to those ball carriers, make them cut that thing back, and have somebody there in that gap behind them. Tremendous job by the defense, and a great opportunity here for the Boise State defense. Get a stop, get the ball back to their offense with great field position.
2-minute timeout. All Boise State in the home opener tonight, up by 20 just before halftime. A sold-out crowd of roughly 33,000 getting a treat here in the first half. The home opener for Boise State up by 20 on Eastern Washington. And a 3rd and 8 with the Eagles backed up at the 6. Final 2 minutes before halftime. Multiple flags. Taylor tries to get rid of it as it's thrown. Marco Notriani had the hit applied on Jared Taylor.
Oh, is this going to be a holding with the quarterback in the end zone?
Ruling on Fields' incomplete pass. Holding. Offense, number 67. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Hold's going to be right there. You can see him grabbing that, just pulling them down. Not sure why you declined that one. I think that would be a safety.
Well, regardless, punt unit out. 4th time today, Landon Ogles has had to punt. It's a short one, and Boise State will take over in Eastern Washington territory with 1:49 to go. There is a penalty marker, though. We'll check in on that.
Full-on laundry day today.
Yeah, no kidding. This feels more like week 1 than last week did.
Running into the kicker. Defense.
Oh.
5-yard penalty.
Oh, it's only 5.
Remains 4th down.
Yeah, stays 4th down.
Running into and not roughing, the difference. So you hit the kicking leg normally. You hit that plant leg is when you get that roughing the kicker. It's like Premier League soccer or the NBA. Some flops. And you know so many of those kickers are former soccer players.
Right.
They learn that well.
Landon Ogles will be happy to redo the punt after it went just 34 yards.
Yeah, had all kinds of space this time. No excuses.
Ogles to punt it away. Malik Sherrod back to return it. Still on this side of midfield. Calls for a fair catch around the 48, and with 1:43 to go, Boise State has a chance to extend this 20-point lead before halftime with all 3 timeouts remaining. A first half that Spencer Danielson's team has racked up 310 total yards. 162 of them have come on the ground. They have imposed their will all night. Play action. Madsen whistles a pass. It's caught by Chris Marshall, and he's taken down on a shoestring tackle by Bryce Smith at the 11.
He's just going to get a little token fake from Madsen in the pocket right here. You can see that his receiver is going to break wide open. Chris Marshall, nice job separating. A nice accurate throw, and the accuracy so important on those routes that are coming across the quarterback's field of vision. As you hit him in stride like that, and he's able to catch and run.
There's a handoff. Malik Sherrod stays up somehow, trying to reverse field, and might have made it a little worse for himself, all the way back to the 17 for a loss of 6. Tylen Jackson down on the turf for Eastern Washington. You know, Robert, to play before that, the 37-yard catch for Chris Marshall. He's got 2 catches today, one for 29 yards, one for 37. And Spencer Danielson was telling us yesterday that they think Chris Marshall has all the talent in the world, and they're really excited about him. But last week, just 2 catches for 19 yards. He said, we need more from him, and you're seeing flashes of that tonight.
Yeah, and again, Nate Pottery talked about the way that they prepared for that game a week ago. And this is what happens when you don't have a preseason and you've got so many possibilities of what you could see from a defense. You come up with a game plan that kind of accounts for those things. And he felt that they just kind of overthought it. They were really not playing the way that they wanted to play. And so when you keep it in that order, you say that we're going to be run first, play action second, and we're going to be drop back pass third, and stay closer to who you are fundamentally. Players like Chris Marshall are going to be able to eat in the course of normal action a lot more.
And they have stayed true to that tonight. It's been a lot of run and play action for Boise State in the first half. Fake to Gaines. Madsen, end zone, lunging try is incomplete. It was Ben Ford in the end zone, but couldn't quite connect.
Well, Ford's going to have an opportunity. You're going to see him coming from the slot right here, and Madsen really puts that thing in a perfect spot. Ford just not able to haul that thing in. Madsen, they talk about him, liking a little bit of adversity, and he's got a little bit of that cowboy in him too, a little bit of that slinger. He kind of has the stature and the movements of a Baker Mayfield, and he takes some of those chances too.
Woo. Incomplete. Was looking for Latrell Caples, and it brings up 4th and 16.
Boy, nobody on that defensive front was fooled that time. Jaden Radke was going to make him pay. Latrell caught that thing. That's a headache coming from a defensive lineman when you're catching one of those little screens like that.
This is the freshman Moore to kick. Boomer had missed one from 46 earlier today. This one from 35 is through.
So they got a kicker named Boomer and a kicker named Cannon.
Yeah,
come on,
Cannon Moore. How about that?
That's not.
That's the requirement.
They made
I think
this
to
up.
kick here.
Well, good to get the points. Certainly would have liked to add 7, but really a great job by the defense responding, slowing down that Eastern Washington offense on that last drive, and giving their offense another opportunity to get some points on the board. And a lot of smiling faces there on the sideline. Again, coaches, they'll find something, right?
Always.
You have to. I mean, that's a coach's job, because the most important play is always the next one. The game isn't over until it is over.
Boise State opened the game with the first 20. They've now scored the last 10, taken a 30-7 lead. 50 seconds to go before halftime. Boomer boots it away. Noah Cronquist lets it fly over his head and through the back of the end zone for a touchback.
Well, you got all 3 timeouts, 50 seconds. Certainly have an opportunity to get something done. You've got a quarterback whose legs are a factor. So that long carry on that very first play from scrimmage, almost a touchdown.
Any kind of points would be a positive here for Eastern Washington. They also received the kick to open the second half, so a chance to double up. Taylor facing heat on the backside, scrambles out of it, pumps once, now throws to the sideline, and it falls incomplete. He was looking for his redshirt freshman Jackson Branch.
And a nice job by Eric Chenander's defensive coordinator Eric Chenander, able to get home, get Jared Taylor flushed out of the pocket, because if he has a chance to set his feet on that last play, I think he's going to have some opportunities downfield. And again, we talk about the front and the back end of the defense being married. The less time that quarterback has to throw, the easier it is to cover.
Taylor fires on the run, pass is caught near the line of scrimmage, and there's nowhere to go for Noah Cronquist.
This looks like Boise State football.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, I say that without exaggeration, of course. You know, it's not just about Boise State, the Boise State players and the Boise State fans and alumni and former players. Like, everybody around the country just has a different level of expectations, and I believe that's the way that the program wants it. It just looks a certain way. You just kind of see, you never see guys out of place. You always see guys hustling. And we talked about last week, and you know how Spencer Danielson was saying that it was an embarrassment what happened at University of South Florida. And it was not just that they were down, that they lost the game, because the score wasn't indicative of the game. It was a much closer game than that. But it was just kind of the body language and the effort that you saw at that game last week. And it looks completely different today. And he talked about what they needed to change and the tempo of practice. You could see that higher tempo in practice paying off here today.
They forced a 3rd and 11 here. Taylor running left side, flag comes in. Taylor is spun down at the 35, which is the line to gain, but will it be coming back?
Holding. Offense, number 72, 10-yard penalty. Makes 3rd down.
So wipe away that run, which would have gone for a 1st down. Instead, they'll redo 3rd down, and it's 21 to go.
You're going to see Dylan Connor here on the left side, and I was watching that one early. He gets the arms outside the frame, but I really don't. And you know what happens so many times when quarterbacks take off to run, you know, former soccer players that are kickers aren't the only ones that know how to act. You see those defensive linemen a lot of time when the quarterback runs away and takes off, even if that tackle or lineman isn't holding them, they'll kind of throw up their arms like, oh my goodness, I'm being held.
Taylor hit as he throws, it's incomplete. Jaden Virgin Morgan got the pressure right off the edge, and he was untouched to Jared Taylor.
Tackles for loss in 9 of the last 10 games. Virgin Morgan, heck of a player. San Diego, redshirt junior, a very disciplined player, but he's got some speed. For a guy 6'3", 260 pounds, you can see why he's had those tackles for loss. He's got great closing speed and some length to him on the outside there.
They call him the field general, a 1st-team All-Mountain West selection a year ago off the edge. Malik Sherrod trying to get away, cannot. A return for nothing on a punt of 49 yards.
It was for something. It's a negative attitude out of you, Noah. Come on. Every play means something. What do you do here? 12 seconds. Oh, you go victory formation or halftime formation.
Well, they will go to halftime with a kneel down and an impressive 1st half, really in every facet, Robert, on a 30-7 lead at the break.
Yeah, certainly, and a great bounce back from the way that this team looked, just from an attitude standpoint, from an effort standpoint. We talked about the non-negotiables. They certainly played up to that standard in the 1st half.
After the break, Rob Stone, Mark Ingram, Brady Quinn, Matt Liner, and Urban Meyer will preview tomorrow's Cy-Hawk rivalry, plus other stories from around college football.
My negative.
An impressive first half for the Boise State Broncos, looking for a bounce back after a Week 1 loss with 340 total yards of offense in that first half, up 30-7. Hello, everyone. We welcome you back in the booth here in Boise. Robert Smith, Noah Reed with you. Again, it came down to effort and mentality and attitude a week ago. That was the biggest thing for Spencer Danielson and his team. They looked a lot better in the first half this week.
Yeah, they certainly did, and they really weren't playing Boise State football. I mean, defensively, late in that game, look, the game was a lot closer than the score looked a week ago against South Florida. Defensively, the effort wasn't there. Offensively, it looked like they didn't quite call the game that they wanted to call. Fast forward a week here, just so physical along the offensive line. But I want you to take a look at the stat line of Maddox Madsen. I think so different from a week ago. He threw the ball 46 times in the game, 23 times in the first half alone. Today, only 15 passes in that first half. They've got that run game cranked up, but I think more Nate Potter, the offensive coordinator, is just calling the game in a way that's much more conducive to the style of play that they want.
Yeah, a lot of run, a lot of play action. Maddox Madsen, 8 for 15, 185 yards with a rushing and a passing touchdown in that first half. So Boise State kicks it away. Eastern Washington offense is out on the field first.
Yeah, and you called it, partner. You know, you talked about that run first, and that's what Nate Potter, the offensive coordinator, said. Like, hey, we're going to be run first, we're going to be play action second, we're going to be drop back third. In that order. We want to establish the line of scrimmage. We want to establish that run game. They were certainly able to do that in the first half. And if you're Eastern Washington, you can't afford the kind of mistakes that you had in that first half. They turned the ball over, costly penalties. They stayed off of schedule. Too many third and longs, and that resulted in only 3 of 11 third down completion.
Taylor with a completion on the first pass of this drive. It goes for 8 yards to Nolan Olm, his top receiver. Incredible work ethic, and Aaron Best, the head coach, was telling us about Nolan Olm. Said you'll walk into our facility 11 p.m. every night. It's like clockwork that he's still in the facility watching film.
Oh, that's so funny. We'll talk about that in a second.
Kept by Taylor, straight up the gut, and he got nowhere.
A little short.
Nolan Olm.
Yeah, but to that point about Olm, and it's funny because Mark Anderson was talking about that. Like, you hear coaches say that all the time. Like, yeah, he's first one in, last one to leave. But it's like you walk in and like, wait a second, that guy, you're still here. Like, it's great when you have guys like that. And both of the staffs talked about trying to figure out how much guys love football, and some guys, they're just film rats, right? Like, not gym rats, they're film rats. They just study the game, and they're there for a long time.
Third down, handoff. It's a first down. Says Nate Bell. He took a punishing hit at the 41, but it is enough to move the chains for Eastern Washington after 8 yards.
It was a nice run there, and you could tell that he had his eyes on Marco Notarini, linebacker. He's like, I'm not cutting that thing up to where you are.
That's good. Marcise Yetz, 2 yards out to the 44. He proved last week he does not need many touches to make an impact in the game. 6 carries, 2 touchdowns. Also caught 7 passes out of the backfield.
Yeah, and one of the things that you like about him as a runner, with his lateral movement, people think it's always about making somebody miss. Well, it's about clean shots, too, not taking really hard shots. And not only does that help you carry the ball more, but you can normally get 2 or 3 extra yards.
Kept by the quarterback, Taylor. Stiff arm of one defender, and he got shoved out of bounds. It was Ty Benefield and Jeremiah Irby on the pursuit.
Boy, really that whole defense, all 3 levels of the defense, that's textbook defense right there. You close those gaps up front, you force the ball to spill to the outside, and then you get the second level from the linebackers, third level from that safety level. Just making that runner string that out further and further, and finally you just run out of real estate and got it running out of bounds or cut it up.
Taylor drilled as he throws. It's caught. It's a first down. Nolan Olm dragged down inside the 40. 16 yards and a first down for the Eagles.
Boy, watch the strong hands on this one. That's really good coverage. So it was a nice throw into a tight window, but Irby, the cornerback, he's trying to fight with those hands. But Ulm, because of that hand strength and keeping that ball away from the defender, able to bring that ball in.
2 catches on this drive for Nolan Ulm, a 6th-year senior who 2 summers ago trained with NFL wide receivers Mohamed Sanu, Brandon Ayuk, and tight end Evan Ingram. Had such a great offseason that he said Evan Ingram told him at one point, like, hey man, you got it, you can make it at this level. He was so excited to go into the season last year, only got to play in 4 games because of an injury, and so he's back for his final season now and is wanting to make the absolute most of it this year.
Yeah, and you love guys that put in the time, both physically and mentally. And you love guys like that to succeed and to see the payoff from that effort.
First down, drops it off to Yetz, his running back, and he got sandwiched down after a pickup of just 2 yards.
But it was a nice job. Ty Benefield spotted that thing right away, triggers on the ball, and slips the blocker. And we talk about how you have to run behind your blockers. Well, you got to understand where those defenders are, and you want to be able to use those pullers and those blockers as a shield. But Benefield able to slide underneath and behind the blocker to make a tackle.
Eric Shinander, the defensive coordinator, called Benefield the juice. Said that guy always has energy when he plays. Nate Bell to the left side, taken down at the 35 by Benefield, right on cue. Yeah, we've said that name so many times tonight too, Robert. I mean, it feels like Ty Benefield has been in on every play for this Boise State defense.
Yeah, and I think Eric Chinander, that's kind of the way that he has this defense designed, right? Like, especially in those alleys, those safeties have got to be physical. They'll lay that wood on you. He's certainly not scared to do it. Benefield, tremendous tackler, great form in his tackle too. He's not just going to put a shoulder in there.
Give to Bell once again, shakes away from 1, but great pursuit after that. A loss of 1. Bowen Phelps makes the tackle, and it brings up 4th down.
Well, there's a clear focus. Mark Anderson, the offensive coordinator for Eastern Washington, he was really trying to get the ball on the perimeter here in this second half, something that they really didn't do a lot of in that first half. You try and get those guys gassed. What they say is you want to make those big guys run and you want to make the little guys tackle. But that defensive front, Boise State done an excellent job stringing those plays out.
Offense stays on the field and 4th down. 4 wide receivers to the left. Taylor looking that way. It's incomplete. He threw it behind his target, Noah Cronquist. Marco Notriani with the coverage, the linebacker. And Eastern Washington unable to convert on 4th down. Boise State's offense takes over next.
Yeah, unfortunately in that first half for Eastern Washington, missed opportunities here once again. Watch this matchup down here. This is one where Jared Taylor has got to see the alignment of the defense. You've got a formation that has 4 eligibles to the right, 1 eligible to the right, or to the left, and 1 eligible to the right. Man to man, that's got to be an alert. If that guy's open, get it to him.
Missed opportunity there brings out the Boise State offense, but great pursuit from the Eastern Washington defense. A loss of 5 on first down for Sire Gaines. Justice Laulu with the stop for the Eagles.
Well, that's a big loss on first down.
For a Boise State offense that has been able to run all over the place. Had over 150 yards on the ground in the first half.
You try and get a cheap one, get somebody to jump off sides, get that free 5.
Madsen checks it down. Sire Gaines, the running back, gets all of the penalty yardage back, or all of the loss back, and then some across the 40 for 11 yards.
And we talk about Sire Gaines and having a different body type than Malik Sherrod, who's a much smaller back, but nice soft hands there from Gaines. Gets a little bit of a Texas or angle route, so common.
About 40 pounds difference between Gaines and Sherrod. It's a true thunder and lightning difference between those two. Madsen to throw, quick slant route, that's pulled in. Latrell Caples spinning across midfield for a first down.
Well, what you love from Madsen here, like no wasted space, right? Half drop or half step, basically, catch and throw. Sees what he wants, throws with the anticipation and the accuracy there. It's not like that was a wide open throw, but it was a nice, confident throw. He had no doubt in his mind where he wanted to go with the football, stuck his foot in the ground, delivered a strike.
7th different receiver he's gotten involved today. He goes play action, throws off his back foot to Matt Lauder, the tight end, lowers the shoulder down near the 40. Yard or two shy of the line to gain. Lauder, a first-team All-Mountain West tight end a season ago, led the league in receiving touchdowns with 7.
And he looks a little banged up.
Yeah.
He got up a little gingerly, and you can see him down on the sideline. He's walking gingerly.
Picked up 8, makes it 2nd and 2. Gaines running right side, shifty move. Runs right into a defender, but keeps the legs going, and it's a first down for the Broncos. 4 yards from Gaines, moves the chains.
You're a poet, and you didn't even know it.
Should I lie and say I tried to do that and make me look good?
I really like what I'm seeing out of Gaines. He's really kind of got all the tools. You know, the vision is there, the lateral movement is there, the power is there, but know just when it's time to get vertical.
He goes off the field. Sherrod comes in. Madsen to throw, whistles it down the middle. He was looking for Ben Ford.
You could tell if that ball got tipped. He just kind of missed on that throw and threw it a little bit too far to the inside. He certainly saw that Ben Ford was breaking towards the inside, but you could tell if the ball got tipped. It was just a bit of a misfire.
Lauder in motion from left to right. 2nd and 10. Sherrod's first carry of this drive, and he got taken down on an ankle tackle after a pickup of just 1 yard.
You're going to see Drew Carter, where he comes from to make this play. Look at that run through right there. You just love that. You love to see your safeties playing physical like that, but with the closing speed, triggering from that second level and negotiating traffic. You know, when you're making tackles from the second and third level of the defense, you really kind of got to like think like a runner. You see where the openings are in the defense and where they may carry it.
Madsen snaps a pass over the middle to Ford, reels it in near the 20. He's got a first down. He's been going after Ford a lot tonight.
Yeah, he really has. Nice play design here. You get that safety or that corner off like that. Get that deep curl route. And the key there is Madsen getting that thing out on time before the defenders have an opportunity to react to it. So you throw with the anticipation. That ball's got to be on its way before Ford's out of its break, and that's what you saw there.
16 yards from Madsen to Ford. It's a red zone trip for Boise State. End around. This is Bates running near side. Bates towards the pylon. Touchdown.
Well, we threw a little praise on Drew Carter the last time. I think it might be Drew Carter. Is definitely a safety. Is going to have an opportunity to make this tackle on the outside. Right there. Nice job of running, though, by Bates. Cutting that thing back inside. And a nice finish for the drive for the Broncos.
Cameron Bates' first touch of the night goes for a touchdown. Boise State extends the lead to 30. 4 different rushers have scored a touchdown for Boise State tonight. The most recent, Cameron Bates, and it's all Broncos in the home opener. Tomorrow on Baseball Night in America, Jose Altuve and the Astros fight for the AL West crown against the Rangers. The Giants take on the Cardinals, or it's Twins and Royals. Check your local listings for the game in your area tomorrow at 7 Eastern on Fox. A little birdie in my ear, Robert, just told me the game to have is Giants-Cardinals because our crew is doing that game tomorrow. Not you and I, obviously, but the rest of our crew has that game tomorrow. So that's the one you want to have.
That's the one you want to have then. No doubt about it.
Boomer booms it out of the back of the end zone. Eastern Washington's offense takes over down 30 with 4:55 to go, third quarter. You've alluded to it a couple times tonight, Robert. They have had their opportunities, and anytime they have, they've just kind of let them go by the side. A pass that goes through a hands or overthrowing a wide open receiver. But Eastern Washington has had their moments at times tonight.
Yeah, they certainly have. And look, they knew they were kind of up against it tonight. They knew they were big underdogs tonight. But if you're Aaron Best, and we'll talk more about his philosophy after this play.
Taylor sidesteps pressure, takes off, has the first down, has more, took a hit near the 45. Look out. Jeremiah Irby pummeled him after 18 yards.
Watch Jared Taylor, though. No panic at all. Sees a blitz coming here, just steps right underneath it, gets upfield. You love seeing that from your quarterback. That right there, you don't love seeing this much. Don't take more hits than you have to, especially when the backup, Nate Bell, gets so much time as a wide receiver.
Yates with nothing, might have even lost a yard. David Latu with the penetration. Yeah, that's one of those that you just go ahead and give yourself up 2 yards sooner, right? Get down, we're not going to take that hit.
Yeah, and back to Aaron Best, though, as a head coach. And he was surprised to get into coaching. Both of his parents were teachers, and he loves the opportunity. He says that, very few coaches get the opportunity to be a dad, a coach, surrogate father. Here in this second half, he just wants to see his team execute and play better.
Taylor with a sidearm throw behind his target. It is incomplete. It hit the ground just in front of Amarion McCoy.
Yeah, it's funny. These young quarterbacks, they see guys like Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen make those kind of throws where they're going to their left and, oh yeah, I'll just kind of whip my hips around and get this thing right in there. The normal rules of physics and the mechanics of throwing, they don't apply to those non-mortals. They do to most quarterbacks.
The 15th third down today for Eastern Washington. They got it to Yates, but he got nowhere near enough to be able to move the chains after Jaden Mickey tracked him down.
And they're going to try and get this punt again. Ogles in that first half had that nice long punt that they were able to down inside the 5, and then the defense was able to hold that Boise offense, gave them an opportunity to get a touchdown. We'll see what he can do here. He normally kicks them low, though, and those can be good returnable balls. We'll see if he can get a little bit of air on this thing.
He does get some air on this one. Sherrod calls for the fair catch at the 10 as he goes falling backwards after a 44-yard punt. Boise State's offense takes over next. They are up 37-7 in the home opener. A 30-point third quarter lead for Boise State over Eastern Washington when they really struggled to run the football a week ago in that week 1 loss, Robert. They have bounced back in a big way this week.
Yeah, they certainly have. And look, we know that it's not a FBS team that they're going against, but this is a good rivalry. It's a good football team that always plays hard. And again, if you're a coach, you're just thinking, I want you guys to play your best. You want a clean game. I want you guys going out there and executing, and that's what you've seen most of the night.
Sire Gaines, who's averaged 9 yards a carry today, gets this one. Bounced away from a couple, but he gets dragged down right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I love the effort. He sees those flat backs to the inside, tries to get that bounce to the outside. One thing I would caution against, though, is changing the ball in traffic. You know, when you've got that ball in that right arm, generally speaking, when you're running to the left, you want to try and get your body between the ball and the defender. So I understand why you want to switch it, but you have to be careful when you're in traffic switching the ball.
Madsen to throw this time. Clean pocket, uncorks one down the seam into one-on-one coverage, and he just overshoots Cameron Bates, who had the touchdown at drive ago.
Oh, just misses on the throw, and Ambrose Marsh in the coverage.
Had a hand on his jersey a little bit.
Yeah, he did. A few times, right? He was playing a little bit of tag, though. I guess it didn't get the pull with the separation. Well, here's your opportunity, Eastern Washington. And again, you know, these coaches, hey, go out there and play your heart. You're Eric Sanders, the defensive coordinator. Let's get off the field here.
Madsen trying to keep the drive alive, and he will. Chris Marshall's third catch of the day. Boise State now 4 for 8 on third down, and that keeps the drive alive after 20 yards.
Boy, you love to see this. This ball, just such a crisp throw, and Marshall barely has to slow down to catch this ball. That's just a nice, tight spiral. You love seeing those decisive throws, the accurate, just throwing that laser, getting it on your receiver, making an easy catch for him so he can try and get upfield.
3 catches for 86 yards today for Marshall. All 3 of them have gone for at least 20. Madsen rolls out, activates the legs, takes an angle towards that marker, and he's just shy of it. Picks up 8, maybe 9.
Yeah, and really the defense for Eastern Washington did a pretty good job covering up the multiple levels. You got to look up those crossers and get that play action, and sometimes you can lose those crossers as they come across the field. But you can see the defenders doing a nice job looking those receivers up, but with Madsen's legs, able to do some damage that way.
Makes it a 2nd and short. Fakes the handoff to Gaines. Looks to throw, zips it over the middle. It is pulled in across the 40 for a first down by Matt Wagner. Boise State offense, Robert, that gets the tight ends involved a lot more than most teams do. And Nate Potter, the offensive coordinator, told us, he said, we just like the unpredictability. We want the balance to be there that anybody on the field can catch a pass.
Yeah, and that's what tight ends can do. You get in that heavy personnel, they like to have their 12 personnel, the 1 running back and 2 tight ends like you see here, and until after this play.
Gaines stretching right side, ripped down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but the power of having that 12 personnel is that it provides such a heavy look to the defense. So from a personnel standpoint, they're thinking we've got to be able to stop the run. So we want some heavier bodies to do that. But you get those hybrid tight ends, and you can hurt them in the pass game.
All Boise State through 3, 37-7 in the home opener against Eastern Washington, looking for win 1 this season. Home opener tonight for Boise State has gone the way of the Broncos from the start of the game all the way through. 37-7 is the lead over Eastern Washington heading into the 4th quarter. On a night that was a lot about effort and mentality and attitude more than it was anything else. They felt they didn't have that in week 1 in a blowout loss to South Florida. That was the emphasis all week coming into week 2. 2nd and 10, Maddox Madsen climbs up in the pocket, delivers on the run, pass is pulled in by Marshall. Tries to spin away, does, has the sideline. sideline, tight ropes, and he's taken down at the ankles by Ambrose Marsh, all the way down to the 12.
Boy, what an effort by Marshall on this play. It was a great job. And you see he's sees that his quarterback struggling, so he breaks that back to the outside. So you're quarterback friendly and giving Madsen an outlet, and then doing your dipsy doodles and dancing. But what I love is he's protecting the football as well. You don't always see that from wide receivers. Keeps that thing with the 5 points of pressure. Almost escapes for a touchdown.
A career-high 132 yards tonight. All 4 of his receptions have gone for at least 20 tonight. He's that big play threat that Spencer Danielson told us about yesterday. Felt that he had so much more in him than what he showed last week in week 1, and he's showing it tonight.
It was really great in talking to these both of these coaches. You could just tell that they kind of feel that coaching is a calling for them, and really the higher purpose of being a coach. We talk about being a surrogate father for these young men and helping them do things that they didn't even know they were able to do.
Second consecutive carry for Gaines, stayed up on his feet, pushing to the goal line, and he's down at the 1.
Boy, a great job up front, and of course, Gaines with that body lean, that's so important, and he's gotten so good at that. And look at that hand drill, you know, or that hand down. We should do that drill all the time. Try and get that hand down. Sometimes you got to understand, though, when you're in traffic, you got to get that second arm over the ball to protect the fumble.
Gaines, again, he's in.
There's a flag down in the middle of the field. I think that's going to be a hold. That thing's coming back.
Holding. Offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty. Mays first down.
Roger Carey on the right guard called for the holding. That wipes away the touchdown.
Right in the middle of the screen here. Oh, yeah.
Yep, pulled him down.
Oh, yeah, you can see. And Jaira's a big fella. Defensive tackle, 6'3", 322 pounds. La'apupu Telly.
You got it. Good job.
I'll tell you Kaimi's full name from the Texans. You'll like that one.
Play action. Madsen back in the end zone. Too tall for Bates.
He saw it. But again, we talk about that accuracy, and Marshall wide open running across field. He's like, what? You didn't see that? And so, I mean, that's you know, the receivers are always going to go back and tell the quarterback they were open, but he was definitely open on that one. But what you don't know what the quarterback's seeing, if they're stepping away from pressure. It's one thing to see a receiver running open. You don't know what the quarterback's view was.
Sire Gaines stretching left side, and he pushes down to the 6 to bring up 3rd and goal.
So you ready for the name?
I'm ready.
Okay, listen closely. Kaimi noa I awalo meke ike oke kumapa'a. That's Kaimi Fairbairn's real name.
See, I have no choice but to believe you. You could have told me anything there. And
Watch it online. Watch it. I've heard him say it online. I've studied it. I studied it. I know it's true.
Twelfth play of the drive. Madsen flush to the right, on the run, completes it for a touchdown. It's Ben Ford, his 2nd of the night.
Watch the acceleration from Madsen. He's going to recognize the pressure, but watch that move. It's big Jaira applying the pressure again, and he's able to escape, get out the outside. It's just tough to cover that long. And look, you know that this Eastern Washington team, you know, they're worn out, right? This defense has been on the field a lot tonight. Not making excuses for them, but certainly not an easy task.
Moore's extra point is through. Boise State scores again.
It's 9-inch nails. We're in this together now, baby. Boise State in. Eastern Washington, another chance.
Tomorrow, the Cyhawks series takes center stage starting at 10 a.m. Eastern with the best pregame show in college football live from Iowa State. Then Rocco Beck leads the 16th-ranked Cyclones in a showdown against Iowa on Big Noon Saturday, only on Fox. All right, Robert, putting you on the spot. Who's winning that game tomorrow? Who you got?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. I'll go Iowa State. I mean, Rocco Beck, he's a dark horse Heisman kid.
Yeah.
His father, Anthony, done a great job coaching St. Louis Battlehawks and UFL. Had a chance to call one of their games last year. But, man, he's just playing some good football. And Matt Campbell, been a heck of a coach for a long time there in Ames.
Another chance for a rivalry win tomorrow, noon Eastern, on Big Noon Fox. Just saw Ben Ford moments ago. His 5th year in the program, had not had a receiving touchdown once. And tonight he's had 2. Been a spectacular night for him, really for the entire offense. 505 yards of total offense, 2 passing touchdowns for Madsen, 4 rushing touchdowns for the Boise State ground game tonight.
Yeah, and you're Spencer Danielson again. It's really about the attitude and effort of his team. He talked about those being the non-negotiables, and more than the score, it's always about the execution.
Taylor pumps once, rolling right on the run, throws it behind his intended target. He was looking for the tight end, Landon Cooper.
And got a little pump fake, trying to hit one of the wide receivers on the outside there. It was Wesley Garrett. Wesley Garrett had gotten open earlier. That was the one where he missed him when they had the 4-by-1 formation. They see he's got the ability to make or to get some separation. I think they're going to try and find a way to get him a deep ball before this one's over.
They get the ball to Nate Bell here, and there is nowhere to go with the ball. He stopped at the line of scrimmage to bring up 3rd and long.
And we talked about this earlier, you know, having your backup quarterback running jet sweep all day.
Tough, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you know, your starting quarterback goes down, and then, you know, you've got a wide receiver that's doing a lot of carrying the football. I don't know. That's why I'm up here in the booth, but I would be careful with that.
Taylor thought he had an opening, instead lofts it to the sideline for Nolan Ulm, but it falls incomplete. Travis Anderson had the coverage, and it's 4th down.
Wow. Saw official almost one hand catch a ball, full extension, but one of the Boise State players walking to the sideline caught it. Hopefully we have views of that somewhere. Nice little circus catch. I got a little distracted.
7th punt of the night for Eastern Washington. And it flies out of bounds. So good starting field position for Boise State, who's already up 37. A 25-yard punt. Boise State takes over at midfield after this. With Maddox Madsen coming out of the game, he is tonight's smoking player of the game, sponsored by Old Trapper. What's your beef? 307 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air, and a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, no question about it. He's been very efficient. Remember a week ago, 25 of 46 throwing the football. It was way too many passes. Now, certainly behind in that ball game, but they were even first half and second half, throwing the ball 23 times in both of those halves. Much better when they have the type of balance they've had today.
That's Dylan Riley with a bolt down to the 44 for 6 yards. 307 through the air, 3 total touchdowns for Maddox Madsen, and a great bounce back day for him and this Boise State offense.
And talking to Nate Potter, the offensive coordinator, he's one of those guys that likes a little bit of adversity, and they certainly had to face it on the road a week ago. And he knew with Ashton Genty being gone, he was going to need to be more of a vocal leader. They talked about he's been that, but it's all about the efficiency at the quarterback position, and he certainly was efficient today. And he just loved not just the operation, but the execution, really. No wasted motion in the backfield. Nice job protecting the football, escaping, climbing when he needs to, sliding when he needs to, and for the most part, pretty accurate with his throws.
Max Cutforth's first pass of the day was short of Cubonte Williams. Idaho native Cutforth hands the football off. This is Riley bouncing near side, down the sideline before he lowers the shoulder near the 10. A physical run from Dylan Riley for 34 yards.
Boy, and they say this guy's a home run hitter. You can just tell, man, the stride that this guy has. Watch this here. He just looks like a sprinter. You see that turnover speed. Boy, he's definitely got the wheels and a nice finish to the run. You know, those young players, so often with younger running backs, it's really making sure that they're comfortable with their protection. He's not the biggest guy in the world. Can he take on blitzing linebackers, and does he go the right way on plays? And he may have gone the wrong way there. I'm just guessing. I'm guessing that Max probably went the correct way on this one. We'll see what the line, yeah, it certainly, well, it looks like a little zone read action, but it looked like the line was, yeah, it looked like the line was blocking zone to the left.
Dylan Riley was put into a bigger role last year than he probably would have had. He became a backup to Ashton Genty, played a lot because of the Sire Gaines injury. He goes straight up the gut to the 6.
And that's the exact same play, right? They go back there and say, hey, Dylan, no. This side. This is the side the fake is. And they fake zone. We go that way with the zone, and then I keep it and go out the other way. All good, though, man. This is
learning moment, right?
Absolutely. Live reps, there's just nothing like them. Practice reps just aren't the same. And sure, the game is out of control, or you got a comfortable lead, but getting those young players reps at times like this, so valuable.
The entire offensive line, too, is reserves, getting everybody an opportunity to play. Pass to the end zone is incomplete. Gavin O'Leary had the coverage that time on Demetric Whitlock.
And the fans here want a penalty. They thought Fender got a little bit handsy. I don't really know that he affected him, but certainly that arm was on the back. But if you're not impeding the receiver or turning the receiver, they're not going to always call that one.
Moore was good from 35 earlier, this one from 24, and he missed it. Wide to the right. Still all Broncos, 44-7. Boise State with just over 8 to play here on a Friday night. Garth Brooks over the loudspeaker on a happy night for Boise State faithful, and on the blue turf they have been nearly unbeatable since 2000, 141-16, and on the verge of win number 13 in a row here at Albertson Stadium. It is Eastern Washington's offense who takes over after the missed field goal, and 6 yards on the first run by Jared Taylor.
Boy, the Mountain West was just so tough in those days too. You know, you had Utah, TCU.
A lot of big wins on the blue. This is Nate Bell, the backup quarterback. He looks to throw. Couldn't connect with Nolan Olm. There is a flag. Demetrius Freeney had the coverage on Nolan Olm.
Yeah, I haven't seen a replay yet. Looked like some normal hand fighting, but it's hard to tell. And so many times it's just that little bit of grab where the jersey actually does separate from the body that we can't always see from up here. And if they see that, they're going to throw it.
Defense, number 14. Ball placed at the spot of foul. An automatic. Stand.
Yep, there it is.
There it is, definitely. Fans didn't love it, but it's the right call. Pass interference. This is Bell again, facing some heat, flush to the right, and heaves it out of bounds. Sterling Lane coming off the edge for Boise State to apply the pressure on Bell.
And these are important reps for Nate Bell as well. So I'm playing a lot of wide receiver earlier in the game, and you know, just trying to figure out what you can get away with is important as a quarterback. See pressure off the edge like he did that last time. Do I have enough acceleration to buy myself some time? And of course, bad snap.
He regathers, and he is great with the legs. My goodness, he just turned that play into something when it looked like it could have been real bad.
Well, you like seeing this from Nate Bell. You see the high snap, goes over his head, no panic in him. Nice bounce, too. Of course, that doesn't always happen with footballs, but nice, tough running back to the inside. But, well, he's taken some hits in this game. Looks like Boise player, a little banged up, coming out the field.
Bell has nice protection, launches down the same. It's pulled in. Noah Cronquist inside the 5. How about the touch from Nate Bell?
You see him come right in the slot here, and we had seen Jared Taylor miss on some of these deep throws. Really a perfect throw there from Nate Bell. Tremendous job getting behind that defense.
49 yards from Bell to Cronquist gives Eastern Washington a chance to score here with just over 6 minutes to play.
Isolation on the right side.
Bell is rolling that way, uses the legs, touchdown for now, but a flag, and it might be in the area of holding.
Holding. Offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty. Will remain first down.
It's Gavin Allen, the right tackle. A former tight end moved to right tackle.
Yeah, big old Gavin Allen, and he starts with those arms outside of the frame, and you know he's one of those young big guys. You know, you convert those guys at 6'6", 270 pounds, just a redshirt freshman out of Kennewick, Washington. Sometimes those young guys need to learn technique, but they also just have to hit the training or the the table of the food, right? The training table. You get more burgers in you. and that technique, of course, you don't want to start with your hands outside like that. The tendency is to want to hold there anyway, but you got to drop a little bit, and he just doesn't have as much weight to throw around right now.
Yeah. He did put on 35 pounds in the offseason when they decide to move him from tight end to offensive line, but probably could still use a little bit more size.
Oh yeah, he'll be 3 bills before you know it. You know, guys still growing and into their bodies at that age, but they'll definitely get some calories in them. Of course, no restrictions on that now. You know, back in my day, they even had the limitations, and people would get in trouble for, you know, the training table, the food. There was too much, right?
Yeah.
Now it's just amazing.
We alluded to it a couple times tonight, Robert, but this Boise State team it was not necessarily about schematics and X's and O's leaving last week, but it was more about this coaching staff thought the effort wasn't there. And again, we talked about it's an FCS opponent tonight, so take that for what it's worth, but the effort has clearly been there tonight for the Broncos.
Yeah, it certainly has, and from an execution standpoint, it's certainly been better. And you know, you learn something in all types of situations about your team. When you're down on the road at a game like USF, and you know, the film doesn't lie, and you see certain effort out of certain guys late in that game, and you think, you know, are they the kind of guy that we want to have in there? And I think that's been part of the week for Spencer Danielson, is figuring out which of those guys, you know, might not need to be starting, right? And get some of those other guys in there. You see a different level of effort.
There's a player down on the sideline for Eastern Washington right now. You can see him there laying down on the ground, and the medical staff attending to him as well. We'll step aside the injury timeout with them with 6:06 to play. The injured player down for Eastern Washington is the starting quarterback, Jared Taylor. Earlier this drive, he took this hit that came up near his head area on a run. Immediately, right there was the hit, immediately gets up, walks off the side, walks off the field to the sideline, holding on to the right side of his head. And since then, they brought a stretcher over, and they've got him over on that Eastern Washington sideline with his teammates all surrounding him on a knee.
Yeah, we did see him moving there on the sideline. You never want to speculate. And, you know, out of an abundance of caution, you see all the players on the field, including the Boise State players, sign of respect, everybody on a knee. And yeah, I could see some players going over and shaking hands with him, so that's clearly a positive sign. But, you know, out of an abundance of caution, you see those stretchers and the boards to stabilize him. They just don't want him walking around.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. His teammates all surrounding him in support right now. Step aside once more here from Boise State. Eastern Washington starting quarterback Jared Taylor still down on the ground on that Eastern Washington sideline after earlier this drive took a hit up towards the head area. He kind of knew immediately. He got up, ran over to the sideline. He was replaced by the backup quarterback. We played a couple plays since then, but they brought a stretcher over, and there's been a pause in the game since then, which has lasted about a few minutes now, with both teams showing their respects over to Jared Taylor in that Eastern Washington sideline.
yeah, and of course, you know, we don't want to speculate, but just what we've seen is that he's awake and alert, and that we had teammates going over and shaking hands with him. So hopefully that's a good sign, and you see the Eastern Washington players now getting off their knees and maybe getting ready to get him out.
Take one more break here from Boise State with the injury timeout to Jared Taylor. Players and fans here from Albertson Stadium at Boise State have risen to their feet and gave an ovation to Jared Taylor, who was on a stretcher for a long while after taking a hit to the head, the starting quarterback for Eastern Washington, and they've started moving him around a little bit as well. His teammates looking on, giving support and encouraging words to Jared as he's being taken off the field here on the stretcher.
Well, certainly scary to see a player like that, but understand that they needed to stabilize him on the sideline, and they have him strapped in so his arms aren't moving right now, and they have his head strapped, and they had him on that board to stabilize him, and we did see him alert and awake and shaking hands with some of his teammates before they put those straps on. So that's, you don't want to speculate, but at the same time, those are good signs that the medical professionals feel that it's okay for those players to come up and do those things before they strap him to that stretcher.
A graduate student from North Lakewood, Washington, Jared Taylor, the starting quarterback for Eastern Washington, being carted off the field now with 6:06 to go. Boise State up 44-7 on Eastern Washington. Always hard to resume play after moments like that, but it's Eastern Washington offense with a chance to try to score some points. They've got the ball in the red zone on a 1st down and goal. Nate Bell, the backup quarterback, takes the snap, dumps it off. It's Kevin Allen, the running back, and he's dragged down around the 2-yard line by Demetrius Freeney for 12 yards.
It's almost like a speed run pass option. It's kind of a different way of getting the speed option right there, trying to put defenders into conflict. You get that running quarterback that can get to the edge, and defenders converge on him. He just flips that ball outside. Rich Rod used to do that back in the day with Shoelace back at Michigan.
Bell keeps it, runs right up the middle, and he's got a touchdown. 2-yard quarterback keeper for Nate Bell. He's in for Eastern Washington's 2nd touchdown of the night.
You see him get to the left-hand side here, and he has really good body length. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but, goal line running is really about making really quick decisions and about leverage, not just having the right numbers in the right place, but making sure that you run behind your pads. Bell's not a very big guy, carrying the ball as a receiver, but a nice job getting it over the end line there.
Soren McKee's point after, drilled straight down the middle. A 5-play, 70-yard drive that took 2 minutes and 10 seconds off the clock for Aaron Best and his team to score their 2nd touchdown of the night. Pull within 44-14 of Boise State. A lot of steps forward taken tonight by the Broncos after Spencer Danielson said it to us multiple times yesterday when we met with him. They felt embarrassed after week 1. South Florida beat them 34-7. Felt that the effort wasn't there, that all the things that you can control, they didn't in that opening week. And he said that was going to be the big point of emphasis all week long for his team. And tonight's looked like a different story.
Yeah, it certainly has. And credit to Eastern Washington as well. It's not like these guys have folded.
Right.
And I know that they're probably playing against some of the backup players for Boise State. The reality is that there's going to be a difference in the talent and the size of some of those players, but really credit both of these staffs for getting their players playing with intensity for the whole game.
Malik Sherrod with the fair catch and a touchback to start this drive. There's a lot of expectations surrounding this Boise State team coming into the season after a college football playoff appearance last year, back-to-back Mountain West Conference championships. Many thought that they would be the favorite again this year out of the group of 5 to go to the college football playoff. And not that that's over by any means, but after a week 1 loss, it certainly becomes a lot more difficult. End around in the toss. Quentin Brown, the true freshman, is sandwiched down after pickup of a yard.
Yeah, certainly not as much room for error for some of these group of 5 players. But, when you're at Boise State, you've got some of the schedule to do it. You get Air Force, you have to go at Air Force on the 20th, and then October 4th, you get your crack at Notre Dame. So you've got some opportunities on the schedule to kind of regain some momentum.
And a big opportunity on October 4th. That Notre Dame game atop top 10 team in the country. Dylan Riley is dragged down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 3. Deshaun Misa, the transfer from Boise State, playing against his former teammates.
Boy, Misa, excellent job running that one down from the backside. And that, you take a look at things like that, and you want plays looking the same way, and you want plays off of plays, and that's what really good run games do. Something like that, you want to have a quarterback keeper, an option for the quarterback to keep that one roll out the backside.
Once again, Riley with a seam. He's got the first down. Stiff arms a defender, and he's across midfield. Dylan Riley, one man to beat. Touchdown, Boise State.
Coaching staffs know their players, and they said to us early in the week, Dylan Riley was that home run hitter, a lot of flat backs up front, but watch the acceleration, a little head fake to the inside to get one guy, but then even with people that have an angle, he still has that acceleration, turns it on, gets it in for 6.
Five different runners with a touchdown tonight for Boise State. This one from Dylan Riley.
Watch, you saw that little head fake to the inside, and this is just turning it on, right? Either you have this, you don't coach that right there. You either have that kind of speed, that acceleration, or you don't. And again, with the young players, you got, a sophomore in Moreno Valley, California. With those young players, so often it's making sure that those guys understand protections and that they can protect the most important player on the team, maybe the most important player to a team that you have in any sport. You got to be able to protect that quarterback, and you can't protect that quarterback unless you know who to block. So young quarterbacks, young running backs, they want to make sure that they understand protections and that they're able to protect the football, and that physically you can hold up in pass protection and then protecting the football. I think those elements, especially for young backs, because making that transition, and I know he's a sophomore, but it's just different when you start taking more and more hits. Got to protect the football, but you got to be able to protect that quarterback.
Nate Potter, the offensive coordinator, said we got away from what we do, run the football first and foremost. And Robert, they've run it for 319 yards tonight.
And they talked about some of the big ones that they suffered against USF. They've had some of those big runs themselves tonight.
All smiles on that Boise State sideline, putting up 50 plus with just under 4 minutes to play. They felt they had a lot to prove coming into tonight, and again, they'll have to show that against some better opponents once we get to Mountain West play, of course, but they're going to feel really good about tonight with 624 yards of total offense.
Again, out here.
Bell dumps it off, passes complete, goes for a loss of 1 to the running back Kevin Allen.
Thought they might have had that deep shot dialed up again. Saw Nate Bell hit it on that last drive. Wesley Garrett, number 13. We've seen him get behind the defense a couple of times. But when you have a young quarterback and you don't know now if he's going to be your full-time starter, and we hope the best for Jared Taylor and his return, but you never know with Nate Bell. So you want to try and get him as many plays as you can, as many live reps, even in cleanup duty like this, just getting the operations for a quarterback. And again, with college football, no preseason, so this is the only opportunity that you have to get those kind of live reps. So you don't want to just go out and take a bunch of shots. You want to get some first downs. You want to get more and more play opportunities. You don't just want to go 3 and out.
Aaron Best takes the timeout for Eastern Washington. He was having a word with one of the officials as well. He's still coaching in a game his team's down 51-14.
Aaron Best, former offensive lineman. Offensive lineman built different, man, physically and mentally.
Bell is picked off. Trey Tolmere with the interception for Boise State. Defense coming up big late as well.
Well, this is just going to be a bad throw. You're going to see Wesley Garrett. He's going to curl up right in the middle here, and he just throws it behind him. And you can see Garrett, he's coming back in a different direction. He's also down on a knee, may have lost his balance coming out of his break. It was pretty clear Nate Bell just kind of threw that ball behind him, and a little bit of a gift they gladly receive as a defense. Defenders, they don't care. They don't care if it was thrown right to them or if it was tipped. If it was an unbelievable catch, turnovers are turnovers. They want them any way they can get them.
So the offense takes over. Handoff. This is Seth Knott, his first carry. The celebration for Tolmere, too. His teammates loving up on him after the interception. Love it. I love, too, when it's the starters. That was McCoy. That was had his arm around him, was happy for him.
Yeah, football is just different, man. You know, it's definitely a family in the locker room. And starters, you know, you're working so hard, and a lot of those backup players are playing scout all week, and, you know, they certainly don't get the accolades or number of reps that those starters are going to get. But, you know, you're literally shedding sweat, blood, tears together in that locker room. It's a family environment.
All Boise State tonight. Smiles on that sideline and all-around performance of 51-14 with 2 minutes to go. Quite the contrast to week one tonight for this Boise State team who's up 51-14. This is the kind of numbers they're used to around here, Robert. 325 yards on the ground and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, but the expectations aren't about just winning your next game or recovering and get a false start here. Looks like the right side of someone on the right side of the offensive line jumped. That'll back him up 5 yards. But it's not just about winning games here.
False start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty. Mains third down.
And we both saw this, Noah, when we were going through the facility yesterday. We saw inside of that meeting room, like it said, you know, our expectation is to win the Mountain West and get to a bowl game, and they have bowl games scratched out, and that says playoff now. So they know what they want. They're happy about bouncing back, and it's certainly no disrespect against Eastern Washington, but this isn't how this Boise State team is going to be defined.
Right.
The standard that they're going to be held to is what it looks like at the end of the year. Are you in a playoff or aren't you?
It was crossed out in their meeting room, and CFP was written in spray paint on the wall. The goal is to win the Mountain West and get to a college football playoff game from now on. That is the expectation year in and year out here in Boise.
You think it was really spray paint, or it just made it look like spray paint?
It looked like it. I'm going with spray paint. Seth Knott again, this time on 4th down. He got close to it, but it looks like he's about a yard shy.
It was going to be a little short. Of course, you're not going to kick the field goal. You want to try and pile on points.
The nearly 640 yards of total offense tonight for Boise State, the most since September of 2018 when they had 818 yards against UConn. So take a look at the schedule coming up. You got Air Force, Appalachian State, and then the big one, October 4th at Notre Dame. I want to talk about an opportunity for a massive win. Boise State's going to have that.
Of course, the Golden Domers drop one to Miami.
Bell on a quick pass to that far sideline. It's a first down for Eastern Washington.
They don't call it Catholics versus convicts anymore. That was before you were born, though. You don't even remember that. Youngster.
Bell again, and he throws it behind his target this time as Wesley Garrett that he was looking for. Second and long. Bell swings it out. What a hit. Kevin Allen got demolished by Demetrius Freeney.
You know, Kevin Allen's going to say, you know what, I think I withstood that punishment pretty well. It was a pop. Not like he depleted him. He stopped him. It depends on whose opinion you want to take. You know, those defenders like to talk a little bit of smack. And then in the running back room, you know, you're going to have Yats and Betts and Medina. You said, Allen, all right, you got popped.
Bell to the sideline, and it was incomplete. Freeney had the coverage again this time.
You got popped, but you stayed upright for the most part. He tackled you, but you got right back up.
Well, convincing from start to finish tonight for Maddox Madsen and Boise State. A touchdown just a little over a minute into the game, and they never looked back on their way to a 51-14 win. Another Eastern Washington punt. Malik Sherrod lets it fly out of bounds. And we'll see the Boise State offense on the field in victory formation for one more snap.
Same way they ended the first half. Didn't use that last 12 seconds on the clock, and now just take a knee.
Good spot to be in if you're Spencer Danielson and company. Week one did not go their way, lost by 27 to South Florida, but home opener tonight very much went in their favor. 51-14 to get into the win column for the first time in 2025.
Yeah, it's really great hearing Spencer Danielson's story about his time at Azusa Pacific and his decision to get into coaching and kind of what it means to him and the tradition of this program, but really he sees it as more than a job. This is a calling for him.
And a 13th straight win on the blue for Boise State. Fourth longest active streak in the FBS as they take down Eastern Washington 51-14 the final tonight.
Yeah, and how about that bowl streak? 26, 27.
27.
Georgia's the only team with a longer bowl streak than Boise State.
All Boise State tonight, 51-14, the final over Eastern Washington for their first win of the season. Big thank you to our producer, Brad Weimer, our director, Brian Biederman, and the rest of our phenomenal Fox Sports crew. For Robert Smith, Mike Pereira, spotter Zach Hoffner, statistician Russ DeLynn, I'm Noah Reed saying good night from Boise, where the Broncos win the home opener 51-14 over Eastern Washington.